I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Yes, my yachties. It's Amelia Sai with AfterBuzz TV. We're back for the after show for Below Deck Sailing Yacht. It's episode, who even knows what day it is? It's quarantine. I don't even know what episode it is, and it doesn't even matter. Nate, how are you doing? What's going on?
I am doing absolutely amazing. Like you said, what is today? The only reason I know today's Monday is because Below Deck comes on Mondays.
Below Deck.
Everything else I'm binge watching. So the only reason why I know today is Monday. So I'm like you, confused.
Awesome. And our producer's telling us it's episode 14 for all y'all shady people out there that are going to comment. We're in the live chat. If you want to comment, you never do, because I guess you guys are all below deck. So start commenting in the chat. We will call out your live chats. And I also have some comments from last week's episode we will get to. But before that, I want to jump right in. So right off the top, we have Jenna and Adam. Such a hot mess. They are not in sync. It seems, according to Adam, every time they have sex, it gets a little weird. So we'll get to all of that. And then we obviously have Georgia revealing Madison's secret about her sister on last week's episode. I knew that was going to come to fruition and it was going to be messy. We're going to get into that. We're also going to get into a little bit of the kind of Jenna being a different kind of Jenna. Even though we're going to talk about Adam and Jenna, I want to talk about Jenna on her own because she really mellowed out. She was not the same aggressive, bullying type Jenna. So that was a new Jenna, which I was here for. And obviously we have a new guest on board, a cancer patient who is really living her life to the fullest. So I definitely want to talk about her as well. We have a special segment, which is going to be Above Deck, which is for who we thought had the most, like maybe emotional growth or is kind of less of a douche. You guys will very soon find out who Nate and I will nominate for Above Deck, our lovely segment. And we will get into some predictions. And we saw a little bit of the promo, and we'll talk about that as well. But before we do all of that, Nate, tell me your overall thoughts about this episode.
I don't know about you guys, but it made me so sad. I feel like from the start, it started off with clearly the Adam and Jenna situation that wasn't really sad, but it was just like it was intense. And then they're ignoring each other. It's awkward. So it's like very, very sad. But then the Jenna and Georgia thing happened. And I was really very sad about that because clearly you saw how mad Madison was. And clearly Georgia messed up. Like, clearly that was a mistake. But she stood up for herself. I mean, like, she literally came and said, look, I made a mistake. She didn't hear it from someone else. So, like, I was proud of her for that. But I was so proud of Madison for answering and like, really coming back saying, it's okay. You know, I understood that she didn't mean it by fault, you know, so, but then the cancer, it was just so many sad things that were going on. So, but all in all, it was a great episode. It wasn't that sad. I mean, I'm not over here crying, but I just I did get sentimental too. Like everyone else on board got sentimental.
Absolutely. It was nice to see that it was a intense story, but it wasn't like this cancer patient wasn't like so negative, and it even affected Jenna. Like they came in with such a great attitude, and you know she was there with her gays and just having a great old time. So I thought that was a really, really nice episode. Okay, let's talk about Adam and Jenna. So we saw a little bit of their, you know, you got to read a lot. I don't watch TV because I want to read, so it's annoying with all those subtitles. But basically, the gist of it was Jenna like bringing up kind of their drama and their relationship right after they've had sex. I don't know about you, Nate, but when I have sex, I don't want to talk about relationships right after. So I was like, it's not the right time. What did you think of all that?
I don't either. I don't either. But I just don't think that it should have turned into what it did. And Adam clearly was mad at other things, you know, and then this is why communication is so important, because when he got her those flowers and she didn't react that way, that's really what he blew up about in that room. Like, yes, he probably was annoyed by that she brought up that question, but that question is something that just bothers you, where like as a man, you're just like, leave me alone, leave me alone. But it doesn't make you blow up like that in the way that Adam did. So clearly, it wasn't really the question. Yes, that question is weird. I'm someone who jokes like that in those situations too, just to be funny, or I'm gonna be like, hey, you want some juice? Like, just because like it is kind of that awkward-ish time. I love to like dive in that awkward time, you know. So I'm like that. So I get why he got frustrated, but no, I think he's really mad because of something so much deeper. But again, like I said last week, I don't think that he should have reacted that way. The curse words and all the extra Just the nastiness, which was not necessary at all.
It was not necessary. You don't need to be cussing. According to Parker, you should not be cussing at the dinner table. So I thought that he didn't need to get into that. And I don't think that he should ignore her like as if she's not there the entire episode. I'm like you guys have to work together. Like you have to be professional. And I feel like Adam is just such a prima donna. And everyone I've talked to from the cast, they are all like, that's how chefs are. And I feel like chefs kind of get a pass on the boat. Do you think is that fair, Nate? Like, what are your thoughts about Adam getting a pass?
I don't think it's fair at all. And again, I wanted to defend Adam this episode a little bit, but no, he doesn't get passed for specifically that question. No, he doesn't. And I hate everyone is trying to be their selves right now. It's very popular. And because of that, a lot of people say things like that. Well, that's just how chefs are. You know, you need to learn the chef or learn how to deal with those type of people. There's a fine line with being who you are and just being yourself and not changing for people, or also just being rude and acting certain ways. Just because chefs act this way doesn't mean that you get to berate this guy for delivering this food to you in a certain fashion. Doesn't mean that you need to be rude to these people over here. Now, him and Jenna ignoring her, I understand him. Okay. I'm not mad at him for that. I'm not mad at him for that simply because, for one, he probably knows that there's nothing that we can talk about right now. Anything that we can have a conversation about is going to explode. I have nothing nice to say to you about right now. I am frustrated. We have nothing to talk about. Now, should he have worn it on his sleeve like he did? Probably not. But what I like when she brought him the notes and stuff and he didn't respond, that was payback because he's truly hurt that I went out of my way to show you that I care about you and showed you my love language and you just didn't answer the proper way. And so now when you want to do something for me, I'm going to just give you the same energy. And so I understand him for that. It's petty, yes. I just understand him. I might be doing the same thing. But again, well, I'm single.
No. But it makes sense. I understand. I like echo what you're saying is like there's this idea too, like in the like a lot of cultural stuff where it's like, especially in the US, it's very much like be your most authentic self. But what if your authentic self is a douche, like is a dick, like Adam? I don't think it's appropriate. Like you need to understand that like you can't only be nice to guests and like be a dick to everyone else. So I think it's important to kind of be able to check yourself a little bit, you know? I think, hi, Jean. Jean Wellsome is in the chat. So is Tanya Featherstone. Adam is a diva. Yes, he is, honey. Yes, he is. But, you know, I think he makes great food. And when I spoke to Madison today on live, she said, verbatim, was like, he cooks really good. And that's all that really matters. And when she was actually leaving the boat the last day of filming, he said, I was paid to be a dick. So he's like, I was paid to be a dick. Like, that's his, like, he's playing that villain. He's playing that character up. So I don't know.
I believe it. And that's why I always say that these are people too. But again, I just again from the emotional side from Jenna, again, I feel like I see myself a lot in Adam. So I feel the frustration, and it's like it takes a lot for us to get over there to even show you this type of love. And I showed it to you, and I feel like you threw it in my face. Oh no. This is why I don't even give y'all my energy. I'm gonna get back to work, like Adam is doing. I get you, Adam. I ain't mad at you, bro.
Okay, Nate. I like that. I mean, listen, at least he's productive. A lot of times when you get in an argument with your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, you have a relationship fight, you're not productive. At least he's putting all that anger into his work. So it could be worse. He could be sulking and all that. So I do appreciate that. That does make a lot of sense. I just wanted to thank everyone. Do you have any final thoughts about that, Nate?
No, not really. Not right now.
Okay, we're sympathizing for Adam. Who knew? We've done 14 episodes and we are finally sympathizing with Adam. I never thought that would happen.
I love you. Well, okay, so wait, are we gonna retouch this, or are we gonna talk about the last little conversation?
Oh no, we're gonna get back to it because we're gonna talk about Jenna on her own, and then we're gonna loop back. We're gonna loop back. Okay, so I just wanted to so you're good? I just wanted to thank everyone, AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV Talk, for being here with us. Me and Nate have kind of taken over the show and made it our own. We used to be 4, now we're 2, and we're killing it, and you guys are loving it. So I just want to thank you all for all the comments, the likes, the views. I would love our live chat to be a bit more poppin', but maybe as the show picks up and we get the cocaine episode we've been waiting for, we will finally see some momentum. I also want you guys to go to Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars. We need 5 stars. And then we also have some comments from last week's episode. Tanya Featherstone, who's in the chat, hi Tanya, is saying, I don't care for Adam or Jenna. All right. And then Trina Dong is saying, this duo though, hat and decor game strong. Trina is our own AfterBuzzer host. We love her. Sharon Fleming is saying, love your breakdown. I've seen the captain hat dude on another AfterBuzz show with Jane. Yes, with Jane Johnson. I do Summer House. This is me tonight getting vested in this below deck. And Jane is calling us the greatest of all time ever. The goats, honey, thank you. And one more comment. Adam hitting his head on the log was the best part of the episode. I felt bad for laughing, but it was so good. That's from Annabelle Reyna. You know what? It's at the end of the day, yes, they are real people, but it's still entertainment, and you can have a nice little chuckle about it. So I'm not mad at it. Okay, Nate, let's talk about the whole, Madison's sister, Georgia talked about it with Byron, and then Byron said that's why she was sad at dinner. And I know for a fact that was not it. Madison said she had to be, her call time was at 7 a.m. It was 1:30 and they were still out. That's why she was leaving. She was like, I wasn't mad. I was mad they were making it seem like it was something it wasn't. What do you think about that whole situation?
Well, again, first thing I think about is editing, miscommunication, because even on Georgia's side, okay, when she said that, I don't think she even said, and maybe they cut it up, that's why she left. I think Byron asked a question like, why does, Byron was kind of asking, I'm talking about last episode. Byron was kind of asking questions like, why does she always get like this? And she was speaking about her in general, not necessarily that night. And so Georgia responded saying like, well, her sister did get murdered, so she may react differently to things like that. I don't think that she was talking about specifically the reason why she left tonight was because she's mad at her sister. Like, that wasn't what it was. And I think that's how Madison received it. It was like, wait, you told them that the reason I was mad last night was because of this? I think Georgia was talking in general. Like, yeah, I think she gets dramatic sometimes because she has this thing that's hanging over her that she kind of puts down. With that being said, I of course, when I heard it, I knew that it was going to be blown up. I knew that it was something that was going to come up. And I felt so bad because I knew Georgia didn't mean it that way. I knew she didn't mean it to bring her down. I knew she didn't mean it to gossip or trying to be cool around these crew members to win them over and be behind her back. It wasn't that. It was literally just something in the moment that she just probably just felt comfortable. I don't know why she felt that way. But she's completely wrong. Madison has every right in her bone to be pissed off, to even not talk to her. But I am proud that Georgia did say that she's sorry beforehand, before it got from Byron or someone else before. So I'm proud of her for that. But I'm extremely even more proud of Madison for even coming back that soon. I knew she would, but like that soon. It was like a turnaround. Like, all right, let me take a breather. She probably understood, okay, I know that she didn't do this with malintent to it. So I'm proud of that whole scenario and how it broke down. That's why I was so sad, because I was like, do not tell me that they're gonna break down. Please
I hope
me
not.
Georgia and Madison are gonna like start beefing. And so I'm glad that they didn't. So that whole scenario, I'm proud of both parties, honestly, how they handled the situation.
No, I agree. If they weren't getting along, you would be doing this after show alone, because I would be out. Because if they're not together, there's no point in watching this show. Like, they are the heart of this show. And Madison actually said, when I talked to Georgia as well, she said, like, we are the real kind of fifth couple, is Madison and Georgia, because they're so in sync. And what I love about that, Nate, is I think a lot of times when someone does confront us for doing something wrong, we try to defend it or apologize or say a lot of stuff. But Georgia was just like, I'm going to listen. I'm wrong. Yeah, like, I'm not going to try to argue with her, which I thought was super cool. That was the way to handle it.
I'm wrong. And some people, and it's funny because sometimes people don't like, let's say Madison could have been someone that, like, when you're yelling at someone and they're just saying, yeah, you're right, instead of like arguing back, that even makes that person even more mad.
Yeah, it always does.
That was going to happen. But that's the best way. Just be quiet. I lost. There's nothing I can say. There's no excuse, anything. I'm wrong. So good job, Georgia. Proud of you, girl.
Awesome. No, she really kind of nailed it. You're right, because if she had said too much or too little, Madison would have gotten more angry. And I felt like, I was like, okay, This is like I don't know, the way Georgia handled it made me like her even more than I already do. So I really respect that. I was like, it was well done. Yes.
This too. And maybe maybe because I love my girl Madison too much, I'm looking too deep into trying to protect her. I felt like no one came to her defense at all.
No
one went against her, but I felt like no one really went to her defense. Like in any other situation, I feel like everyone else would be talking crap about Madison, saying, "Oh, she did this, she did that, or she shouldn't." I didn't feel like anyone criticized Georgia. I feel like when Jenna kind of stepped in, which I don't know why she tried to, but when she did, and Madison was explaining to Jenna, she was just like, "Well, I think that we should just, just take a breather and step away." Instead of saying like, "You're right, Madison, she shouldn't have stepped over there. Give me a hug. I'm here for you." Like she just was like, "Well, let's just take a breather." Now I don't know.
But don't you think it would have been fake though? I think that would have been fake, Nate, if she was like, "Let me give you a hug." Like that would not. I don't think Madison would have responded to that because I didn't get along with someone and they were like, "Give me a hug." I'd be like, now that I have a problem, like, F you. I don't think I wouldn't have liked that.
No, I agree. It would have been fake, but I just wanted to see more of. I just felt like they didn't brush her off because they knew she was right, but they didn't give her enough of that. I don't know, that drama side. We're like, you're right, Madison. Like they just kind of was like, all right, we'll just go over in your corner, let it go for a little bit, and we'll come back, and everything will be act like nothing happened. Instead of just give her that. But I hear you. It would have been fake. It wouldn't have been.
I don't think it would have been authentic. And the only person that could have maybe given her that was Byron, but Byron's the reason this all happened. So he tried to kind of stay away.
I thought Byron was going to try to comfort her, was going to be the one who broke the news, but like in a comfort way, like, "Hey, if you ever want to talk about your sister, I'm here." And Madison would be like, "Wait, what?" That's what I thought was going to happen, but so I'm glad Georgia brought it up.
That would have been worse. Well, I think he said something. Who said something? Who said first?
He said, well, Georgia said it to Madison first, but he said something early in the episode about it to Georgia, not to Madison. And so it probably sparked in Georgia's head again. And then so she was like, "All right, let me just bring this up now."
Oh my God. It was definitely hard to watch. I was like, oh no, this is gonna like I talked to her today about it. It's obviously something that's gonna be very traumatic that someone has to go through. And to kind of use that as an excuse for her leaving early or being irritable, like I felt like was kind of messed up. But I do have to give due where it's deserved. I think that Jenna really handled it like a leader. She was like, take a breather. Because I think if she had said Georgia's wrong, then it would be like Georgia's annoyed at her. This way it's like step away, Madison, and come back. I felt bad for them, all of them, because I was like, it's such small quarters. It's almost like they're quarantined at the boat. Like you can't go anywhere. Like you can't get away, That's the worst part. It's like you literally cannot get away. So it's kind of a bummer. But I think overall it was handled really well. And I think it made Georgia and Madison closer, I hope. And again, I think it's important that Madison doesn't just talk about it in the interview and no one ever finds out about it. You know what I mean? So I like that they all found out. So
I think it was handled. I think it was handled actually perfectly. But again, from Jenna, she doesn't handle things perfectly in the past. So this is just different. I'm feeling. That's all I'm saying. But yes, how she handled it from the right way, perfect.
Yeah, I think it was well done. I was surprised. I was like, wow, Jenna, you have it in you. And because when I talked to Madison today, she was really hinting at the fact that she felt bullied by a lot of people on the boat. Including Jenna and Adam and etc. So the fact that they didn't come to her defense also makes sense if she was feeling bullied. So I think that all kind of connects. The dots are
I know this for you, Boo-Boo. I see you, Boo-Boo.
I love that. All right. So obviously we are such Madison stands to the end. So we love that storyline. Okay, let's talk about, before we get to Jenna again, let's talk about the cancer patient and that whole story. I thought that was interesting that they kind of chose a more heartwarming story. And I know that it affected both of us. Nate, what were your thoughts about all of that?
I mean, again, I'm glad that they even brought that on the show, but I'm also glad that they got to show genocide of it, because we're all affected by cancer in some sort of way. Cancer's everywhere, whether it's, a close family member, extended family member. But whenever we do go through any deaths or anything serious like that, our perspective always changes. And even now, as we're going through COVID, our perspective is changing. We're reaching out to family members more often. But When can we get to this
Absolutely.
point where we're always like this? We're always living on this exciting last day. We don't know when our last day is. We don't care. We're telling everyone around us we love them. We are taking adventures. We're chasing our dreams. So, I'm just glad that they brought that perspective back up. Whenever that perspective
Right.
is brought to us, it's always great. So I'm glad to have her and her high spirits on the boat. I'm so glad.
I agree. I think it's always nice to be able to have that perspective at all times. But I think it's hard because as people, we
It
get
is.
lost in our schedules. Even after COVID, like we're all going to go back to dinners and birthdays and we're going to forget about like being stuck inside. And unfortunately, that's the problem with being a human being. But I think it was a nice moment. Like even when Jenna was talking, there was even a moment where I was cynical and I was like, this is just her way of getting sympathy. But I was like, no, listen to her story. Like, don't be so biased. So I think that's important to not do that because it's a little shady. So I was like, I need to stop. But once I listened, I was like, there's a lot of pain in her heart, and I think that it's important that she shared that and
Yeah.
opened up because we don't get a lot of Jenna kind of opening up and giving us different angles. There was a really nice conversation with Jenna and the woman who is going through the cancer. She got stage 4 cancer diagnosis. She was like, I'm just trying to live my life like as if it's my last. I wish I was doing that earlier. And I think that sparked something in Jenna where then she was like, okay, I'm gonna go to Adam and have this conversation. So now let's start talking about all of that. How did you feel about that conversation? Because once again, I was like fully very much on Adam's side again. I was shocked.
Yeah.
So I'm curious as to what you think.
Well,
Mhm.
just in general, when I started thinking about, so all those memes that have been coming out, and that it may be like future or like someone texting someone on the phone and was like, "Hey, I know it's Christmas," and like you're texting an ex girlfriend or something. Have you seen those memes?
Yeah, I have.
That's what I've been thinking. That's what I was thinking about when she was like, life is very short, and I'm like this, so I'm not making fun of Jenna. This is who I am too. So when I get in these situations where someone dies, or like I get a testimonial story like this, where someone has cancer and they have the best spirit. I'm someone that I'm thinking of my exes, or I'm thinking about people who I've lost connection to. I'm sending
Oh,
those text messages out. So
wow.
when she started writing those notes, I started laughing so hard because I was like, okay, that's me. But what she needs to understand that that doesn't solve problems. Okay, when you do something wrong, just because you write a note, just because you buy a gift, just because you do something for that person, doesn't mean that person has to receive it that way right then and there, and everything is fine. And a lot of times, what we do is she is thinking, like, okay, this is so cute, which it was, Jen. It was so cute, but I know in her head she expected him to react a certain way, just like he expected her to react to the flowers a certain way. Jen expected him to drop everything, kiss up,
Mhm.
kiss and makeup, everything is good. And it just didn't go her way that way. And I kind of already knew. And it's funny because I wrote it down because since it was at the end of the episode, I thought they were going to end on that and not show the conversation. I was just like, this is not going to work. Her writing these letters is not, I wrote in my notes, this is not going to work. What do you know? 2 minutes later, she gives it to him and it doesn't work. So I'm glad again. I don't condone this toxic nature, but I just again I understand Adam. I would have reacted the same way. I
Mhm.
felt like I bent myself backwards for you. You didn't do the same for me. Now you want to, and at this point, um, I'm gonna make you work for me. Now it's a game. At first I was not trying to play the game. I was trying to be cute, jumped off the boat, got the flowers. You didn't take it serious. All right, so now we're back to playing the game. So yes, Adam is being petty. He's playing games with her mind right now. But hey,
Is
sometimes
he?
that's what we
I
do.
don't think he is, Nate. I think he was very clear. He's like, after the boat, I'm getting on a van and I'm speeding away. He was so clear. She wants a
Oh,
relationship. He was like, I'm out.
oh no, he's serious about that. But I just
He's
mean like
serious about
by
that.
ignoring her and like grabbing the notes and like instead of just saying, "Look, I'm done. Stop doing this." Like he's grabbing him, putting him up, ignoring her. Like that's like a mental game. Like just to make sure she knows. Like don't mess with you right now. Like I'm pissed off with you.
Yeah, he
Like
wanted
he's
her to
purposely
know.
letting
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yes.
That's what he
He
put.
it's like that petty label stuff. You walk into a room, Nate, there's 10 people, you say hi to 9 people and you ignore one
Yeah,
person. It's
yeah.
like you can like just you don't need to play those games. And I think Adam is the king of playing those games. And
Mhm.
he was so upset about the frozen tuna. And I'm pretty sure in Corfu they might be getting some frozen tuna once in a while. He was like freaking out about stuff. And I love Captain Glenn. He's like eating his food and he's like, well, if you tell someone to calm down, that never calms them down. I was like, yes! I
That's so
loved it.
true.
It's so true.
That was the truest thing I've ever heard.
It's
But
freaking true. Yeah.
But yeah, I like I said, I think that they're officially done. I think that I didn't think that they were gonna last after this season anyway. I don't think that the relationship. But again, Adam, and he said it perfect. And because Jenna said something like, I just don't think that you're ready to support someone, and I think she said on an emotional level. And again, it reminded me so much of Adam because for the past X amount of years, I've been telling women, I'm trying to figure out my career, my life, get my feet settled, I can't give you what you want. It's not that I don't want to, it's just like the attention, the time, the emotional energy, like it takes a lot. And I want to give that to you, but I don't have that in me right now because my focus is elsewhere. And so at this point, when all the drama and all the extra stuff is starting to be thrown at Adam, and now I have to enter this relationship, now I'm arguing with you, now you're getting involved into my work because now I'm frustrated while I'm working. Okay, this is where I draw a line. So he just had I don't know how to say word, revelation. And he's just like, all right, look, this is messing with my life, my work. This is too much. I gotta go. It's time to go. So he's feeling that, and Adam is out of here. He's out of here.
He's speeding away on the van. I was like, how fast do vans even go? Do they speed away? I don't know. But he did I mean, I think that, like, again, I don't mean to say this to sound a bit misogynistic, but I feel like sometimes women, when they're in a relationship, they hear what they want to hear. So I think that Adam is literally saying, when this is over, there probably will not be anything between us. And she's like, all right, cool. Like, let's see if I can try to win him over. And it's like, it's not appropriate. It's like not appropriate.
So true.
We can talk about this all day, but let's get to our special segment, Above Deck. So who do you think in this episode has kind of come the farthest? Who's our honorable mention, Nate? Who do you think it is?
Okay.
Long pause.
I'm going to go with the Georgia because I want to go with Madison, but I don't want to play favorites tonight. I'm going to go with Georgia because how bad she did with making the mistake by bringing up. But I am so like and I know from Madison is just like, who cares that she came to me first? Like she still is the one who brought it up to everyone. But that means the most to me. Like the fact that you owned up to it, the fact that you didn't let it get back to her from someone else, the fact that you didn't try to make an excuse and say that, because I believe that they were drinking the night before. She didn't try to make an excuse, said, sorry, I was just drunk. She just took it. So that is maturity. That's growth. That is a grown woman who handles her business and looks someone in her eye and is honest and respectable. So that's my above deck. I love you, girl. I'm proud of you.
Love it. I agree with that. And I think I'm going to give it to Captain Glenn when he was just eating his food and said, when you tell someone to calm down, they never calm down. I've been told in so many relationships, Amir, calm down. And I literally will burn the house to the ground. So it's like, it's not the right move when someone is upset.
And Byron. I have to give a shout out to Byron because Byron did come save the day for the boat.
Yes, he
did. We don't
did.
get to see Byron much. He doesn't do much, but Byron saved the day.
Yes, he
He's
did.
A silent hero.
He really is. And I have some tidbits from my live. So I did a live with Byron, and he talked a lot about the inner workings of how important the engineer is. And we finally saw it on this episode. He does agree that he is an instigator and a bit shady. So we got him to agree to all those things. You can see all of that on my Instagram lives. I also spoke to Parker last night. And Parker, so he proposed to his girlfriend a week after he left the boat. So what happened was she flew in after he left the boat. And he said his first day, he had a lovely meal and he performed with a famous Greece singer all alone in Greece, enjoyed his time. Katie joined him and he proposed a week later. So it's kind of crazy. It's very whirlwind, very exciting. And then I also spoke to Madison, and the thing that she wanted everyone to know was that this happened a year ago. She has moved on with her life, and she is actually really trying to get into fashion. And she, wants to really be like a high-end designer. So we got some good tidbits from everyone. I'm also trying to get Captain Glenn for the show. But if it doesn't work out time-wise, I'll make sure I do a live and give you guys all the updates. But we really want to talk to Captain Glenn as well. So it's going to be fun. We're going to have a good old time. But before we wrap up, Nate, do you have any predictions for the new season? For the new episode that's coming up?
I say it every week. The cocaine is coming out.
It better come out. I'm like, where is the cocaine?
Yeah.
And you know what? It's funny because when I asked Byron about this, he said this season has been so tame. He said in yachting, like crazier shit happens. He's like, this season is so tame. He's like, I guess a stewardess was offered $100,000 to take a dump on a table for a guest. So Byron said, yep, you heard it. You heard it correctly.
What?
So Byron's like this. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
And we got kids starving everywhere. That's crazy. We got people starving, and they're paying $100,000 to what?
To take a dump. Shady, shady. So I think that however people think this season is crazy, people in real life are a lot crazier. But yeah, that's a weird place to stop the show, but that's what we're doing. So it's fine. We're stopping at that. Nate, tell everyone where they can follow you in the meantime.
You guys can follow me and find me at Royal Nate _. Don't forget the underscore on all social media platforms. I've been talking to some of you guys on Twitter, and you guys are very, very smart. So keep talking to me. I love you guys.
I love that. Nate, you are the master of discussion. So it works. It works perfectly. Well, Nate, we had another fabulous episode, and I love all of you guys. And you can follow me and find me at Amir Yas _ Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I actually did Parker's breastfeeding TikTok, and he loved it. He said it cracked him up. And go to my lives. I've interviewed pretty much the whole cast at this point. And we also have our interview with CRM Paget that's up on AfterBuzz TV. Go check it out. Give it some love. And let's be more active in the live chat, guys. Come on. You all are acting like below deck. Let's bring you above deck. And, join us. We love you all and have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.